am Santosh. Welcome to Bioremedial online classes. Today we will discuss about one more life process, transportation. Students, we all know transportation is important process for all multicellular organisms, as transportation is not necessary for unicellular. All the materials enters into the body is utilized by the same single cell, but in case of multicellulars, whether the substance is absorbed or secreted at one part, it should be supplied to all over the body. Let us understand how the transportation takes place in living organisms. In our syllabus, we will discuss about transportation in human being as well as plants. Let us understand how transportation takes place in human being first. Students, let us understand what is transportation is all about. Transportation is a process in which whether a substance is absorbed or secreted at one part and distributed all over the body is called transportation. Students, transportation plays a very important role in supplying materials to each and every part of the body. In this syllabus, we will understand the transportation in human being as well as transportation in plants. Let us coming to the transportation in human being. Students, there are two systems associated in transportation of human being. One, blood vascular system, and second, lymphatic system. So let us discuss about blood vascular system. Students, the organ system of the human being which is responsible for transportation of materials inside the body through blood is called blood vascular system or blood circulatory system. This system includes blood, blood vessels and heart. Then coming to the blood. Students, blood is a fluid connective tissue which circulates in our body that carry all the necessary materials from one part to another. It is red in color due to the presence of a red color pigment called hemoglobin, which helps in gaseous transportation. Students, the main components of the blood are plasma, RBCs, WBCs and platelets. Let us coming to the plasma. Students, the fluid part of the blood is called plasma. It is a colorless liquid that contains 90% water and many dissolved substances. These dissolved substances include proteins, digested food, salts, nitrogenous wastes, hormones, enzymes, etc. The RBCs, WBCs and platelets are immersed in it. Now coming to RBCs. Students, these are red blood cells appears red due to the presence of hemoglobin. The hemoglobin of RBCs carry oxygen from lungs to all parts of the body. RBCs are unnucleated as they do not undergo cell division. RBCs have very short life, about 3 to 4 months. Interesting information that about 3 millions of RBCs die every day, but 4 times of that are produced in bone marrow every day. That is why we should not be panicked while donating blood, because the lost blood can be recovered quickly. Then students, WBCs. These are white blood cells. They fight against the germs and protect us from various diseases. Some white blood cells directly kill the germs and some produce a chemical called antibodies which fight against the infection and protect us. Coming to students, platelets. These are the fragments of the special cells produced by bone marrow. Platelets also do not have nucleus. They help in coagulation of blood or blood clotting. Students, when a person met a minor accident or injury, then it starts bleeding from the body. Now the platelets produce a gum-like substance that helps to clot the blood and the blood bleeding stops. Now students, blood vessels. Blood vessels are the network of tubes present all over the body through which the blood flows. The blood vessels for the three types: arteries, veins and capillaries. Arteries. These are the blood vessels that carry blood away from the heart. Students, all arteries carry oxygenated blood except pulmonary artery. These are found at deeper skin and the wall of the arteries are comparatively thick. Students, then coming to veins. These blood vessels carry blood into the heart. All the veins carry deoxygenated blood except pulmonary vein. These veins are found just below the skin and the wall of the veins are thin. Then coming to capillaries. These are the thin-walled and extremely narrow tubes that connect arteries and veins near the tissues. The wall of the capillaries are only one cell thickness so that the materials present in the blood can easily pass into the cells of the tissues. Students, look at the diagram where artery and veins are connected by capillaries near the tissues. The arteries carrying materials away from the heart supply to the tissue through capillaries. Then the capillaries are joined to form veins and the deoxygenated blood goes to the heart through these veins. Now students, look at the function of the blood. As we know, blood carries oxygen, carbon dioxide, digested food, hormones, enzymes, nitrogenous wastes from one place to another. Blood also protects us from various diseases due to the presence of WBCs. Blood regulates the body temperature also. It maintains the temperature of 37 degree all the times. Students, look at the important organ that is heart. Let us understand the function and structure of human heart. Look at the diagram carefully. Students, the heart is an important organ. It is roughly a triangular shape and the size is about our fist. It is mostly located at the middle of the thoracic cavity. Students, heart is made up of a very special kind of muscles known as heart muscles, which contracts throughout the life. Students, there is a partition wall present at the middle of the heart called septum. This septum separates the heart into two halves, one left half and one right half. This helps to keep both oxygenated and deoxygenated blood separate. Students, in the left half there is two chambers, one upper chambers called left atrium and lower chambers called left ventricles. In right side, the upper chamber is called right atrium and the lower chamber is called right ventricles. Students, between the atrium and the ventricles, there are valves present in both sides. These valves plays a very important role. These valves open in one-way direction so that the blood can only enter from the atrium to ventricles, from atrium to ventricles only. It will not flow back from ventricles to atrium. These valves check the return flow of the blood. Now students, look at the blood circulation in human being. Students, the vena cava, which is the large vein, has two parts, one upper vena cava and one lower vena cava. These upper vena cava are connected with the veins coming from the upper region of the body, that is from the head region, veins from eye, ear, nose connected to the upper vena cava, and the veins coming from the lower region like stomach, kidney, liver, pancreas are connected to the lower vena cava. All these veins carry deoxygenated blood, and the deoxygenated blood it enters into the right atrium through vena cava. Students, the most important thing to understand that whenever the deoxygenated blood enters into the right atrium, the oxygenated blood also enters into the left atrium through pulmonary vein. At the same time, both the atrium is filled by the blood. Now, when the atriums are filled with the blood due to the contraction of the muscle of atrium and the pressure of the blood, the valves present in both sides opens in this lower direction so that the blood from both the atrium enters into the ventricles. Now the ventricles are filled with blood. The right ventricles are filled with deoxygenated blood, whereas the left ventricles are filled with oxygenated blood. Now students, when the ventricles are filled with blood, the ventricle contracts and the blood from the ventricles pushed away. The deoxygenated blood from right ventricle goes to the lungs in this way through pulmonary artery to lungs for oxygenation, and oxygenated blood from the lower ventricle goes to all parts of the body through aorta. Aorta is a large artery where all the arteries are joined. In this way, the blood circulates in our body through heart. Now students, very often it is said that human circulation is double circulation. Why it is said? Students, human circulation contains two circulations. One is called systemic circulation, another is called pulmonary circulation. Students, systemic circulation involves the blood coming from all parts of the body into the heart, again going back from the heart to all parts of the body. That means from the heart to all over the body, from all over the body parts to the heart is called systemic circulation. And when the blood leaves the heart through pulmonary artery towards lungs and from the lungs into the heart, that means from heart to lungs and lungs to heart is called pulmonary circulation. Students, in each circulation, blood enters the heart twice and leaves the heart twice. Through vena cava and through large artery, through pulmonary vein, the blood enters, and through pulmonary artery and through aorta, the blood leaves. That is why the human circulation is often said double circulation. Students, let us understand some more function of heart. Students, heartbeat. When the heart contracts, the blood pushes into the arteries with a force, and when the heart relaxes, the blood from all over the body enters into the heart. This one complete contraction and relaxation of the heart is called heartbeat. Students, the heart beats about 70 to 72 times per minute. Now, students, pulse rate. The pulse rate, the expansion of the wall of the artery each time the blood forced into due to the heartbeat is called pulse. Hence, each heartbeat generates one pulse. So, the pulse rate is equal to the heartbeat, which is about 70 to 72 per minute. This pulse rate becomes high during physical exercise or during heavy work. Now, students, coming to blood pressure. The continuous entry and exit of blood due to the regular heartbeat exert a force against the wall of the blood vessels. The pressure at which the blood flows around the body is called blood pressure. Student, blood pressures can be two types. The maximum pressure at which the blood pumped out of heart is called systolic pressure, and the maximum pressure in the arteries during relaxation is called diastolic pressure. Students, the normal blood pressure of a healthy person is about 120 by 80 mm by Hg. Students, the blood pressure is measured by an instrument called sphygmomanometer. Students, we have understood the blood circulation and how the materials are transported through blood. One more system we will discuss, that is lymphatic system. Student, a lymphatic system includes lymph capillaries, larger lymph vessels, lymph nodes. Let us understand one by one. Lymph. It is a light yellow liquid similar to plasma. The contents of the lymph is exactly similar to plasma. It flows in the intercellular spaces, so-called extracellular fluid. It always flows in one direction, that is towards heart. Lymph contains lymphocytes, a type of special WBC that fight against germs. Students, lymph capillaries, these are present throughout the body. They join to form large lymph vessels. Large lymph vessels. Students, the lymph passes through lymph capillaries and enters into large lymph vessels. These large lymph vessels join the vena cava and deliver all the material carried by lymph. Finally, lymph nodes. The lymph nodes are present at the interval in the large lymph vessels. These nodes also contain lymphocytes which clean the lymph from the germs. In this way, the materials coming out of blood again goes back to the blood at vena cava. Students, this is all about the transportation of human being. In the next part of the video, we will discuss about the transportation of plant.